Hey there, I'm Lee. I'm the host of Play Guitar Podcast, and I do a podcast and a video podcast that's geared towards helping guitarists actually achieve results. Yesterday was podcast day. We got everything up there last night, and it's all about whether you're frustrated with what you're learning, or you just need a little help or direction with the guitar. Play Guitar Podcast, the focus is to give you the right skills at the right time to help keep you moving forward. I'm starting these live streams just for fun. I might, just talk about what the show is this week, or I might go over any questions that have come in, or I might just jam for a while. Who knows? But I'm wanting to get in the habit of starting these each week. I've been live streaming in my Facebook group every Sunday. I'm doing a Q&A, and it's been a lot of fun, and I just want to start going on to YouTube and getting all this started over here as well. I want to talk a little bit about this week's podcast, and I'll put it in the description here. Let me grab that. Here's the link right there in the description. And it's about starting down the road towards playing advanced chords. You start off with your basic open chords, those kind of things. You work on those for a while. They start to sound good. Then you get tired of those. You move on. You move on to bar chords. And then you're really ready to go. You're starting to play a lot of the songs that you can hear. Most songs have either open chords or bar chords. That's about it. And that's great for most of my students for a while. But over time, you start to hear something else, some more complicated chords, some chords that you might really want to play, but you're not sure how to go about that. And what we talk about on the podcast is knowing a little bit of music theory. And people get scared when you talk about music theory. They think it's boring or it's complicated. And honestly, it's neither of those things. It's awesome. Music theory is the gate that gets you towards all of those cool sounds that you're really wanting to be able to play. So what we do on the show is we talk about some music theory that's geared towards guitar players. It's geared towards the songs that we want to play. And what we're going to do today is use some of that to open up some chords that you may have heard before, you may want to be able to play, but you weren't sure how to do it. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to start limiting ourselves. Usually when you play guitar, you're going to try and play the biggest chords you can play, all 6 strings, or maybe 5 strings, or 6 strings. But what we're going to do is we're going to limit ourselves this week to 4 strings. And that's what I talked about in the podcast this week. 4 strings that have 1 chord note each. Most times people learn their chords and they just learn they get a chord box, or they get something on the internet and they just memorize the shape and they're good to go. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get people to start learning what are all those notes in the chord. How do they work together? What are the reasons that they're there? And this is a good way to start down that road. This is how we can get to start playing more advanced chords. And that's what I go over it and really in depth in the podcast. And I'm not going to go that deep in it, but I do want to show you some of the chords that we worked on this week. And let's see if I can get to that right there. Over here on the left, you can take a look. This top row here are all G major 7th chords. And they're all based off of a different note on the bass, all on the E string. So we have the 3rd fret, the 7th fret, the 10th fret, and the 14th fret. Those are each the arpeggio notes of the chords. And so what we're going to do is, if you notice, on all of these chords that we have, these are all the G major 7ths, these are all the G minor 7ths, and these are all the G 7s. We have the A string and the E string, high E string, blocked off. We're not even touching them. We're not going to deal with those. And what happens is when you start to learn the notes in guitar chords, you start to see that there's a lot of doubles. You might have just a C major chord. Let's see if I can. Regular old C major chord. If you actually figure out what the notes are in there, C, E, G, C, E. There's really only 3 notes that are being played. 2 of them are doubled, the C and the E. So if you just played the first, the C, the E, and G, you've got a C major chord. That's really all you need to play that chord. So what we're going to do is by limiting ourselves to 4 notes, we can use these 4-note chords, and we can get a lot of really cool voicings and cool sounds just by trying to find all of those notes. The first ones that I went through on the G major 7th chords, we've got G, B, D, and F sharp. Those are the 4 notes that we're going to use for G major 7. How do we get that? Well, if you take the G major scale and give each one a number, G is 1, A is 2, B is 3, C is 4, D is 5, E is 6, and F sharp is 7. As you go through those, give them a number. When we build the chords, we just start on the first note and skip 1. So the notes for the G major 7 are G, skip 1 to B, and then skip 1 to D, and then skip another one to F sharp. G, B, D, and F sharp. That's the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7th. And what we're going to do is we're going to use these 4 strings in different positions and try and get all of those notes right where our hand can reach them. Okay, so what we've got is, on this first one, G major 7th, we've got G on the 3rd fret. We've got an F sharp right here. Let's see if I can get a better angle for that. Oh, maybe see. There's our F sharp on the D string. So G, F sharp, we have a B, that's on the G string at the 4th fret, that's right there under our fingers. And then, so the only note that we need left is we need a D of some sort to make sure we have all 4 of the notes of the G major 7. That is on the 3rd fret on the B string. So we have 4 strings, and each one of them gets one of our 4 important notes. And that's, in jazz, they call this a drop 3 voicing, but we're not trying to memorize things. We're trying to build chords. And that's what the whole podcast talked about, building chords. And what we're going to do is take each one of the notes on the bass string and build a chord, each one of the notes from the chord along the low E string, and build a new voicing off of that. So G was our first note. So our next one would be B. And you can see that on the 2nd chord box, G major 7 off of the 3rd. So we have a B on the low string. Skip a string, we have a G at the 5th fret on the A string. Then we have a D at the 7th fret on the G string, and then an F sharp on the B string on the 7th fret as well. That's what it looks like right there. So our first one, they're the same exact chord. They're the same notes. They're just in different, they're kind of scrambled up a little bit. It gives it a different voicing and a whole different sound. Okay, let's go through the next one. So the next one is a G major 7th off the 5th. So the 5th is a D. Let me move the camera over here. So here's our D right there. So we've got our D. We need our G, our B, and our F sharp. So on this next string right here, there's our B at the 9th fret. And then we have F sharp. It's at the 11th fret. There. And then we have G at the 8th fret on the B string. This is a neat voicing. So we got pretty cool, pretty cool. And then the last one we're going to do, we're going to build the chord, the G major 7 off of the 7th note. That's an F sharp. It's up here at the 14th fret up high. So we've got our F sharp. All we need left is the G, the B, and the D. So that works out real easy because at the 12th fret, we have a D note on the D string, a G note on the G string, and a B note on the B string. So there's our 4 chords. So basically we took a G major 7. We figured out a 4-note voicing for it in 4 different places all across the neck of the guitar. After that, it just repeats as you go forward. So wherever your hand is on the guitar, you've got the chords you need. We only used 4 strings. We had 4 notes and just found where they were. It takes a little bit of thinking at first. Then after that, you're good to go. You can start creating chords instead of just memorizing them from chord boxes. Okay, so the next thing we have, let's see here, is the minor 7th chords. And basically, you could take the shapes that we just learned, lower the 3rd 1 fret, and lower the 7th 1 fret. That gives you those voicings right there. But we'll go through them. So we need for the minor 7th, we need a G, B flat, a D, and an F. Here on the low, there's our G. Skip a string, we've got an F right at the 3rd fret. We've got a B flat right at the 3rd fret, and then a D right at the 3rd fret. They all line up at the 3rd fret. So what I'm doing is I'm basically playing the low note here and barring 3 across right there. There's our minor 7. Let's build that same chord, but starting on the B flat now. So we've got B flat, we've got a G right here. All we need is a D and an F. Here's a D, and here's an F. Let's try doing it off the D string. So we have a D, there's our B flat, then we have our F and our G. And then last but not least, we'll do this off of the F, which is up here at 13th fret. We have our F, here's a D, here's a G, and there's a B flat. Four different ways of playing that G minor 7th. Let's do it again for a dominant 7th, the G. We need a G, B, D, and F for this chord. So we have our G here, F there, B, and D. Let's try it off of the B. So we have, let's see here, B. Here's our G at the 5th fret, a D, and then an F using the 2nd finger right there. Let's try it again up here using the D. Here's a D. Then we've got our B on the 9th fret of the D string. And then we've got our F with where our pinky is on the 10th fret there. And then our G at the 8th fret on the B string. This is kind of the Born on the Bayou type thing. Last one, F, G, B, and D. This is one of those ones you can bar straight across. So real quickly, just knowing the 4 notes of the chord and having 4 strings, we can get voicings all over the guitar. So easy. And even if these aren't the chords in the style of music that you play. I play a lot of hard rock and I play a lot of blues, those kind of things. Even if that you don't see these kind of chords, the idea is the same thing. Figure out the notes that you need from the chords. Limit yourself. You don't have to play these big, huge chords. You can play just a few strings at a time. It can help you out. And that's what we talked about on the podcast this week. And I just wanted to share that with some more folks here on YouTube. Let me get my, and let's see here. So we've got, want to tell you about my Facebook group. It's if you go to playguitargroup.com, that's my live my Facebook group where I do a live stream every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I answer questions and all those kind of things. And also, I've got some free stuff available. The link, I'll put another link in the notes. And I have a free video lesson called Get Your Blues Soloing Under Control. And what I did is I got together with a lot of the listeners and figured out what some of the things that they were interested in learning and made a video lesson for that. And it's 6 steps I found that gives you gives you all the things you need for killer blues solos. And I put it together after spending time with with my listeners. And I also have a free practice space checklist. This came out a few weeks ago. It's to help you set up an effective practice space that's comfortable and it gets things done. And it's just a quick checklist to help you do those things. But so you can go to freeblueslesson.com to sign up for both of those. I'll put that in the show notes as well. Okay, well, that's me. I'm Lee from the Play Guitar Podcast. Thank you. We had a few folks watching today. I sure appreciate your time. And I'm going to start doing these on Wednesdays. I think it's a good day to do them. And if you've got any questions or anything I can help you with, just let me know in the notes and I'd be happy to do it. All right. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.